How does Paul get his kale so tall and bushy?
Nutrient-dense soil.
It's like you plant it and walk away.
Yeah, and I got blown over, but man, it was like, you saw my beets. You know,
Mhm.
the same thing. It's just like every year they get bigger because the ground's good. You know, it's just
I am planting onion sets in a new back-to-Eden garden. I have moved back the mulch, planted them in dirt, and applied blood meal since it's a new area. How deep can the onion sets be mulched?
just so you have something sticking out. As long as you have some green, getting some light, you're good.
Okay. So once they have some green coming up, you can
Just pull
cover.
wood chips right around them. Yeah, just make sure there's some green sticking up, and they're good.
Okay. Do you ever thin root veggies like carrots or beets, since he doesn't get down on the ground to space the seeds carefully, or is that not an issue when you have so many inches of wood chips?
It's not an issue when you have wood chips because the ground is so soft they just move themselves out of each other's way.
Which we saw today.
You saw today, yeah.
Does Paul ever grow plants in containers, and if not, why?
I do because there's some plants that I can't afford to grow in wood chips because they will take my place over. Two of which are comfrey and mint. And I have those in containers because I like them, and the only way I can have them is to contain them. Because if they're in wood chips, they take my whole place over. So I do grow things in containers.
Now, that's the first time I've ever heard you mention comfrey, and I hear people talk about it all the time,
really
and
good.
I'm a big
Chickens love it,
proponent
and
of
my
it.
wife tells me, limits me to 1 leaf a day because she says it's really potent, but it's really good food.
Okay.
But don't you ever plant it in open wood chips because you will never stop it. It'll take the place over, man. It's scary.
Your tomatoes that you grow down in squim, do you trellis them? Do you stake them? Do you just let them go?
I have a stake and I time them a bit, but after a while they just take over and again it's too much. I gotta get them all, and it's just, I mean, my sister-in-law, my brother, I mean, people come at Runer, everybody takes all they can, and it's just so many rot in the ground because there's just too many. So I'm gonna start reducing how many I grow there because it's just impossible to use them all.
Now, I asked this one during the tour. It's a very specific question, and you answered it, but just in case this person missed it. I live just west of Philadelphia. I harvested my potatoes in the beginning of August and replanted the biggest tubers. Now I'm getting new growth from at least one potato. Would I be able to get a second harvest before winter, or would the potatoes be okay in the ground through the winter? And if not, what can I do about it?
You won't get a second harvest, and the potatoes are fine in the ground.
Just leave it there
Just
for the
leave it
next.
there. And if it gets cold and freezes, all that green will die off. It'll turn brown off. Don't worry about it. It'll come back again.
Have you ever tried to grow sweet potatoes?
I have. It's just not warm enough. I actually get them to come up and grow, have foliage, but no tuber, no sides, because it's not warm enough. But I have tried.
Do you think the metal sheets might help with that?
No, it's the ground
Okay.
and longevity time. You know, you have to have warm soil. See, they're growing in the soil, so it's not the foliage that's getting, it's the ground. And again, it's time. You know, it's just not
Does Paul have any problems with fleas and ticks? If so, what does he do about them? And if not, what can I do about them?
I don't have any problems with what you can do about them. Just cut out garlic and put it in your animal's feed because garlic is a major insecticide, and no bugs will bother anybody eating garlic.
Really? I live in northeast Texas and have fire ants in my garden in certain spots. It makes it difficult to pull weeds and grass. Am I doing something wrong because the ants are there? Not enough moisture, or too much moisture, or what?
No, I think I've heard that a lot. It just seems to be a problem in that area, and I've had great results of people who made chicken tractors and moved them over that area, and they come back and tell me, I can't believe it, man, we have no ants. Those chickens got them all. So that's the most perfect ant remedy I found. I mean, those chickens are amazing. I used to go in the woods here. We used to have these big old ant hills. My wheelbarrow, and I'd show my wood. My chickens, they get in there and they'd be kicking them. The ants all over them. They're picking the ants off each other. But they get they go for the larvae, the eggs, every part of it. It's like steak dinner, man. It's like the best thing they ever had. They love it. You know?
What kind of grass for the sheep, summer and winter? Do I have to turn the ground to plant the grass?
No, I would just seed on top of the ground, and if you have wood chips, put a light layer over it in the fall, let the winter bring the rain and snow to germinate it, and you'll have a great pasture.
And do you know of a specific type of grass that...
Depending on where you live, and I would go to some, agriculture store and say, what's the best pasture grass you have here for sheep? And just, the multitude of, words, there's a multitude of counselors, wisdoms found, so ask people, and when you hear something twice, 2 or 3 times, you probably know that's a good one.
I assume that Paul's dogs never get fleas and ticks, but if they do, how would he treat them? Our dog has a few fleas and we tried essential oils and diatomaceous earth without any luck.
Garlic.
Garlic, yeah.
Garlic's phenomenal.
What kind of plants does Paul's dogs eat?
Everything. I mean, they eat kale, cucumbers, carrots, beets, apples, pears. I mean, whatever I eat. If I have dinner here and I make zucchini, I just give them whatever I'm eating. They love it. They never turn it. They'll eat beets. They eat everything I eat because I'm eating it.
Well, and throughout the entire tour, every time somebody grabbed something, Tirza was right there eating it right out of their hands before they could wipe all the dirt off.
Basically, everyone knows dogs do what you do. They're man's best friend. They want to be part of it, and so just demonstrate how to live. This is good. They'll do it.
In fact, I was sitting on the ground looking at how dense the carrots were, and then I pulled one out and I was showing it up to the camera, and Tirza just came and took it out of my hand. And I was like, that was mine. Oh, that one's mine.
Yep.
Okay. What should I do about woodchucks eating everything?
A dog. Good dog.
There are pill beetles, roly-polies, in this area. One reason I've taken to starting my greens indoors is that when I sow the seeds outside, they will come up through the mulch and eat the sprouts as soon as the seeds germinate, especially lettuce. Note that I have not previously used any more than 2 inches of wood chip mulch. Could it be that the heavier layer keeps the critters down?
I've never had a problem with insects eating my plants. So I don't really know, what the issue is there. So I'm not sure.
Okay. Well, this one's going to be a quick, easy answer too then. Japanese beetles are decimating my very healthy wood chip gardens. Gorgeous green beans, grapes, and my fruit trees are all being eaten. I know Paul believes that it is happening due to unhealthy plants, but gosh, these plants looked so awesome and were producing beautiful food until the Japanese beetles took over. We have tried nematodes to no avail, and we're not crazy about the warnings on milky spore application. Any ideas?
Well, I would, bring chickens in. After you're all done, if your plants have been destroyed, just bring them in now and let them clean the house. They'll get rid of everything.
I noticed that over in Eastern Washington, we did this one little strip just to throw stuff out and see what happened. And, I put just a thin layer of wood chips down because that's what I had at the time. And I planted some stuff, and our zucchinis came up great. I watered them a couple times, maybe 4 times throughout the whole summer. But they were coming up great, and I noticed that, and these things were huge too, like yours. But when they got dehydrated, that's when the bugs came and took out one of the plants. And it was weird because I had 2 plants sitting within 5 feet of each other. and they only took out the one that looked dehydrated, and the other one was fine. Could it be that maybe even though it looks good, it's not getting enough water?
That's what I'm seeing in my experience, is that bugs won't eat my nutritious, healthy plants. Now when the leaves get old and fall on the ground, they eat those.
Right.
But when things are fully hydrated, there's too much water content. They can't get the cellulose and fiber. They drown. And so much of insect issues I found is moisture. It's water content.
And even though in a lot of places you don't have to water with, a heavy mulch back-to-Eden garden system, it's okay to water, right?
Can't hurt. That's the beauty of it. Unless you have hard compacted ground and make puddles, it's hard to overwater. It's hard to overwater in wood chips.
Really
it's
is.
Impossible.
I have terrible issues with borers in my orchard. They are both top borers, which enter at the tips of new growth and kill it, and much worse. Another type which tends to enter at ground level and eat around the trunk, potentially ringing, barking, and killing the tree. Has Paul any advice here?
Well, I haven't ever had that problem, but if I had an insect problem, I would bring in chickens and just fence that orchard and have chickens be in there and clean house, because they'll take out those borers.
Yeah, especially in an orchard.
Yeah.
I don't like they're going to damage any
just
of
let
the...
them free run and just they'll clean house. They're great.
You're fine. You can come and go as you please. This is your house.
Yeah.
And truthfully, people like to see you. They love you, I'm telling you. Whenever you're on, they're like, that was the best segment ever. Oh, I love it.